beginning. From his first bond hearing, they didn't turn over the videos or the audio. And even when they turned over the videos, there were no audio. We had to hunt for the audio, and the audio changes everything. When you listen to it, he's communicating with the police officers. Even in trial, 26 months of them holding him, the defense is the only person. We're the only ones that played the audio.
Really?
Yes.
And this is not just isolated to you. This is many people deal with this.
Well, we're talking about over almost 1,500 of January 6th defendants across America. But it's not just happening to January 6th defendants. It's just, I believe we've been given a platform to expose what is going on.
So you've kind of made it your mission to highlight this stuff. What do we do to fix it? Like, what's the call to action for regular people on the ground who hear this and say, yeah, that's not right?
We need to be talking to our representatives about it. We need to be writing letters. You know, it's hard. You're fighting the beast. You either fight the beast or you feed those fighting the beast. That is the point that we are at right now. We can help people on individual levels alleviate the burden. For January 6th defendants, we can encourage them to write them and let them know that their sacrifices don't go in vain. But we need to let our representatives know that we are not going to turn a blind eye to this. We are not going to sweep this under the rug, and we need to write petitions. Legislation is what we need to do and what needs to be written. So we have the House, right? And that's the legislative branch. Why aren't we writing bills and trying to pass bills to ensure that this never happens again, or that we right this wrong?
Yeah. I think we should. I also want to take a moment to commend what you've done on your own, on your personal level with the Stand the Gap Foundation. You guys are raising money for visitations for J6 family members because it's expensive to fly a family out to a federal prison for a 1-hour visit. And you've also been raising money for appellate lawyers for J6 defendants. How's that going? And, you know, what does that process look like?
It's going well. We're actually holding an event in Bedminster at Trump's National Golf Club August the 10th, a fundraiser to raise money for these individuals, because now that the 1512 charge has been overturned, which is obstruction of an official proceeding, it's being sent back to the courts, the district courts, for them to re-sentence these individuals. So the other day I just got off the phone with the wife of the defendant who has this charge, that now they are having to pay their attorney to go back and fight for resentencing. The attorney wants $12,000. So they paid for a defense attorney, they paid for an appellate attorney, and now that this charge is overturned, now they have to go back and pay again for a third time. And that's why we have to raise money on behalf of these defendants. They've been financially broken for the last 3.5 years.
By design.
They want to just sit in jail and not be able to pay for an attorney to be resentenced.
So that's why I think what you're doing with Stand the Gap Foundation is so important. How much does your average appellate lawyer cost?
I've seen everything from $120,000 or $90,000, $20,000. It just depends. You know, the good attorneys, they need to be paid for what they're doing. They're good attorneys for a reason.
Yeah.
And
but this isn't really something you can exactly put on like a layaway payment.
no, you have to pay up front.
So a lot of these guys are sitting there and they don't have the funds to do it.
Right.
And that's where you come.
Yeah, because it's a 99.6 conviction rate among January 6th defendants in Washington, D.C., because they were not convicted. Not one defendant has been convicted. And so, you know, if you are going in against a rigged jury, that you're judged by a David Calendar versus Jackson Sunday, the prosecution's withheld evidence, and the judges, well, the judges. You know, and so why are we paying all this money for defense attorneys when it doesn't matter how good of a defense attorney you have, that you are going to be found guilty on all your crimes? And then after sentencing, you go to the appeals court, you cannot financially afford it. And that's why we don't fund defense attorneys. Because I was told by a very well-known attorney in D.C., they said, Sarah, you've been paying for a private attorney for 18 months. Your husband's still sitting in jail. He's going to go to trial and be found guilty on all of his charges in front of a D.C. jury. Why don't you save your money for sentencing into this? And that's when the light bulb went off. And I was like, you know, I've been in this for 18 months, and you're the only person that's been honest with me about this. Thank you.
Wow. So now you're raising money for J6ers that can't do it themselves. Stand the Gap Foundation, if you want to donate to some of these causes. How much does it cost to fly a family out to see J6
Anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. The entire family can go and visit.
And you raise that that you want to say as it comes to raising this money and how important it is?
You know, we can't let these people's sacrifices go in vain. You know, we want to talk about what these families have had to sacrifice at the hands of the federal government. That they, you know, these people were welcomed into the Capitol. The doors were open. The police were welcoming them in. Did bad things happen on January 6th? Yes.
Yep.
But the process is the punishment, and it's leaked over into these families. And so, you know, they haven't been able to see their loved ones. They've had to get multiple jobs. These families are split apart. They've sold their assets. So what can we sacrifice as Americans when these individuals have sacrificed everything? Everything. Can we sacrifice a Starbucks cup of coffee? Can we sacrifice a shopping trip? What can we sacrifice to let them know that we stand behind them and we're going to help bear their cross until they get home?
I love your story and I love what you're doing. Where can people find you on social media, Sarah?
Social media, I'm Sarah _US. I have a personal website where you can learn more about our story and what we are doing, our initiatives. It's sarahmaccabee.us.
Perfect. And then Stand in the Gap Foundation is the website where you're accepting those donations for J6 political prisoners. I always appreciate you coming in.
No, I have so much fun. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime. Sarah Maccabee, she's the wife of Ronald Maccabee, J6 political prisoner. She'll be back. You'll be back next Wednesday.
No, I'll be gone next Wednesday.
All right. Well, the following Wednesday, we'll have you back on. Always look forward to Sarah. She's one of the best. Find her on Twitter, Sarah Maccabee _US.
Yes.
Perfect. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
One station, so many ways to listen.
Today we embrace the limitless potential now before us.
Find all the links online and on your phone at 997WTN.com.
Live. Time to get your system serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way. How does a beach trip sound? Purchase a new AC unit in July and be entered to win a 3-day beach vacation to Savannah, Georgia in August, valued at $3,000. The winner will be announced on Facebook Live. For satisfaction guaranteed, call Busy Bee HVAC, your route pro partner, 775-7833. That's 615-775-7833, or visit busybehvac.com.
I needed a new mattress, but had no idea where to even begin. Luckily, Sleep Outfitters did. My outfitter sat down with me and really took the time to find out how I sleep. Then she helped me find the right mattress to get my best rest ever. I got the perfect mattress for me, and the price was pretty dreamy too.
Now, get a king for the price of a queen, or a queen for the price of a twin on select mattresses. Save up to $600. Sleep Outfitters, the way mattress shopping should be.
Skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs and sell your home stress-free with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. What our clients Chris said, Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer allowed us to sell our 16-year-old home without having to spend thousands on repairs. The guaranteed offer makes selling your home easy. Call 855-299-SOLD or go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
1-800-GOT-JUNK recycles because it conserves our natural resources.
We donate the donatables so they can be loved and used by another family.
Recycling saves us money. The less we take to the landfill, the more we save.
It also saves you money. Spending less on landfills helps keep our prices low.
People love to see a win-win scenario, but we've created a win-win-win-win scenario.
You make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Are you ready for a new job? Express Employment Professionals helps tens of thousands of people find jobs every year and never charges a fee. Find your next job with Express Employment. Go to ExpressPros.com to find your location. That's ExpressPros.com.
Do your dress shoes, casual shoes, boots, and even your sneakers hurt? And are you starting to wonder, isn't there any shoe out there that'll get rid of my foot pain? Maybe you don't need a better shoe. Maybe you need better support in your shoes. That's where the Good Feet store can help.
When I went to the doctor and got diagnosed with plantar fasciitis, he told me that I could only wear sneakers. So there went all my summer collection of shoes and all my dress shoes I couldn't wear. It was just too painful, too much foot pain every day. I wanted to take off my shoes as soon as I got home every day, but as soon as I got my...
Button at the neck, reach
setting the shade and watching chickens dead. These teeth are gone, but what the heck? How long he won't walk? Said he was a cowboy when he was young. He could handle the road. My mama's daddy was his oldest, and I'm long
potential for more showers and thunderstorms. We'll tell you the details during the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in our nation's capital, FBI Chief Christopher Wray just told a congressional hearing the 20-year-old who tried to assassinate former President Trump had a drone flying around the rally venue a couple of hours before those shots rang out.
Not over the stage of that part of the area itself, but I would say about 200 yards, give or take, away.
And then there was this.
Have you developed any evidence to so suggest that there are any accomplices or cooperators or situation? Not at this time. The investigation's ongoing.
Elsewhere in D.C. this morning, Gaza war protesters demonstrating ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to a joint meeting of Congress. And Selena Wayne previews President Biden's Oval Office address to the nation tonight, which we will carry live on all of our platforms, including on air, starting at 7 o'clock Middle Tennessee time.
Biden still has 6 months left in his presidency, and he says he's determined to do everything he can to accomplish his goals both at home and overseas. That includes trying to lower costs for Americans and ending this war in Gaza. The president is still planning to meet with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu at the White House tomorrow.
Now, Netanyahu goes to Mar-a-Lago Friday to meet with former President Trump, and we're told Vice President Harris will sit down with Netanyahu as well at some point. She's on the campaign trail today in Indiana, and as for former President Trump, Rachel Scott.
Former President Donald Trump heads to North Carolina to hold his first rally, starting to switch gears, going after the vice president on everything from the administration's handling of immigration and the border to also a failed bid for the White House in 2020.
That rally with Trump will be held indoors. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Uncle Sam can't wait for you to retire because he can tax you at every turn, including taxes on your IRA and 401k, taxes on your Social Security benefits, and taxes on your investment income. I'm John Maxey here from Beacon Capital Management.
conservatives and law-abiding citizens, family-loving individuals. We're under attack right now. The Republic's at stake. So just, fighting the good fight. We've got to get Donald Trump elected, and here we go from here.
And one of the ways that you're fighting the good fight is introducing impeachment articles against the border czar, Kamala Harris. Explain to me your thought process behind the impeachment article.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a process in Congress where you issue articles of impeachment. And so what we've done and laid out in these articles, and there's two parts to it. One has to do with immigration laws and the disregard thereof. The second part deals with the 25th Amendment and her complicit involvement in covering up with Joe Biden. But that's really, I think, both are egregious, but the one where Americans have paid the biggest price is, you look at the overdose and just the general overdose of the fentanyl. And the Harris-Biden administration have allowed the invasion of our country. Every small town in America is a border town. On page 3 of the article's line 11, we list some of the sexual violence that has occurred to little girls, right? To little girls at the hands of illegal. We just had a family that was hit head on by a drunk illegal. The family's in critical condition, and none of these crimes should have occurred. These families' lives, these girls' lives were shattered because this administration and the border czar failed to act. And so I have a constitutional obligation to point that out, to call her out on it, and then bring it before the House of Representatives. Now, what happens after this is anybody guess, but this is something, this is a tough conversation. It's a conversation we must have.
No, I think the crimes being committed by illegal aliens are horrific. We see the headlines every day, and the fact of the matter is there's probably a lot more stories that don't get the headlines that are just as horrific. But what do you say to the naysayers who say, okay, maybe it passes through, maybe it passes the first round, but it's never going to pass through the Senate, and you're just kind of wasting money because it's not going to go anywhere. What is your response to those naysayers?
Well, first of all, we're up here working, and so part of my job as a congressman is to be productive. So I would argue that I'm not wasting taxpayer money because I'm up here doing my job. I'm on this, just to sit in the office and have two parties and everything together. That's their choice, but I chose to fight, and I choose to fight. And so look, some people are they got about her, they call names, whatever. Look, I'm here to call things like that. When I look at Kamala Harris, I don't see race, I don't see gender. I see a dangerous individual who wants to undermine our republic. I see someone on the senator who literally attacks the middle class, who doesn't want to be able to buy health insurance, who wants to give health insurance to illegal immigrants. You know what that does to our country? The math doesn't work. The math will never work. So she is something that we shouldn't be not only it's something that we should be afraid of. And so this is what I'm endorsed by Donald Trump. Clearly, I have a bias for it, but we have all hands on deck. We need to make calls. We don't want to just go to electoral college. We get that from the pocket of a message to the progressive Democrats. This is our time.
No, and I'll vouch for you. You're definitely not afraid of being called names. Is it officially Kamala or bust right now for the Dems, or do you see maybe someone else stepping in at the convention?
I think I could run off right after these things, but I think she's been endorsed by all 50 of the state Democratic chairs. The Clintons have endorsed her. You just go down the list below some of the governors who might otherwise run, like Beshear or Whitmer, have endorsed her. So I think they cleared the deck. And then the media is reporting that they essentially that she has enough committee delegates to that. But here's what's happening. You're going to see this play out before our very eyes. Is that the woke leftist media that was complicit in covering up for Joe Biden because he's been cognitive decline for some time now. They're going to try to reinvent her into someone that she has never been and never will be. In her rally, she just talked about how she's going to lift up the middle class. Every policy that she supported attacks the middle class. So this is a woman that if she gets into the office, she's dangerous. She's more radical than Joe Biden. She's left herself.
Yeah, well, she's pulling record numbers, Andy. I don't know if you've seen this. They have the largest rally this Democratic campaign cycle. They had 3,000 people show up for her in Milwaukee. It's about 97,000 less than Donald Trump's largest rally. But you're right. The media sort of trying to anoint her. Do you worry that the articles of impeachment could give them ammo to say, see, the Republicans are terrified of Kamala Harris?
You know what? If that line of thinking motivates our people to get out and vote, because we're pointing out that she is a threat to the Republic, then so be it. Because no matter what we say on the right as conservatives, we're going to have some problem. They're going to call us a name. And so I'm not going to parse words. I'm not going to back down. We have an obligation to let the American people know who she really is and the failures that she has delivered onto the American people. Again, we've caught terrorists at the southern borders. We know that we have terrorist cells operating in our country. We've caught people with bomb-making material. And so the list goes on and on and on. We are less safe. Think about that for a minute. We are less safe in this country because of the Harris-Biden administration, and we've got to do something about it. And so I'm not going to back down. Well, if my job is to defend the Republic and defend your family and my family, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I like it, man, and I appreciate the honesty and the candor and the fight. Switching gears a little bit, what do you expect out of Joe Biden's Oval Office address tonight?
Well, I was going to be sarcastic in my response, but I'll pull that back.
No. Come on. You know, this is the place for sarcasm.
I was going to say drooling and babbling, but, look, so I was the first, at the State of the Union, I was the first Republican that the president spoke to. As he came in, I was right there on the right. I was the first chair. And I was respectful to the president. He is, after all, the president. But I pointed to my lapel, and I was wearing a white button that said Lake and Raleigh. And I said, Mr. President, I want you to take a look at my button. And I pointed to it. So I drew his eyes to it. I said, this Lake and Riley, she was killed, it was for Lake and Riley, she was killed by an illegal because of the southern border. And I need you to do something about it. And there's this pause, right? He has to think about it. And he says, Lake and Riley. And there's another pause. And then he kind of lifts his hands up and his shoulders and says, oh, I love your pen. He was unable to connect the two parts of that sentence.
Jeez.
A, I want him to look at my pen, and B, it had the name of a dead girl on it. And you're to blame. And so this is the problem that you have with Joe Biden, is that he can't cognitively process complex thoughts. And I saw it on full display. And so now, if you put him in front of a teleprompter, he's on his juice and Joe stuff that gets him all riled up. He does an okay job. But then you see him in Italy, where the drugs are starting to wear off, and he literally just starts to wander off. I mean, this is the commander-in-chief. And you know what? Our allies in Europe, they look at this and they're thinking, holy crap. The country that we look to for guidance, protection, there's nobody home. But you know what? Our enemies see it too. This is why we've got to hold the Harris-Biden administration accountable. That's why I've offered these articles of impeachment, because America deserves to know what Kamala Harris did, or quite frankly, didn't do while she was vice president.
If Joe Biden can't run for re-election, can he be president for the next 6 months?
I think from a strategic standpoint, we're fine with him being there, because we know he hasn't been running the country for some time, let's be honest. And you haven't had a cabinet meeting since this past November.
Which is insane. That's insane.
Yeah, so Blinken and company are running the country. And again, so we're in a constitutional crisis situation. But I think from their perspective, they're not going to want to shuffle the deck. I could be wrong. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, quite frankly, he could potentially resign this evening. We'll see. But, I don't think he went willingly. To be honest with you, I think they put him out there in the debate intentionally. They wanted him to fail so that they could pull off this coup and put Harris in place. And there's legal reasons why they want her there, access to the war chest, etc. But that's a conversation for another time.
Have you heard about Donald Trump's Federal Election Commission filing about that war chest?
Yeah, actually, so they're challenging the idea or the notion that she has access to it. We'll see what the FEC does. There is some precedent for them to allow it. But again, this sounds pretty partisan to the left, and my guess is they'll figure out a way to help out the Harris campaign.
Yes, well, you know that they want to. Are you in D.C. currently?
Yes, so the Prime Minister of Israel is about to speak before a joint session of Congress.
And this is where I was going. I've seen the videos on the internet. They're erecting a fence.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that, Andy?
Well, so, and we'll see what the numbers turn out to be, but they're expecting, roughly 10,000 protesters, and obviously post-assassination attempt. They're a heightened state of security. And I'll compliment, obviously there's a lot of questions and criticism should be levied at the Secret Service, but the Capitol Police do a heck of a job. I had an early media hit this morning, a TV hit, and so I got up out and early, and they had Capitol Police on mountain bikes and walking around, securing the perimeter, and so, I'm confident in those folks up here wearing the uniform. They serve our country, they serve us, and, I make it a point every time I pass a Capitol Police officer to stop, shake their hand, and thank them for their service. And so, now the Secret Service, that's a different question. I think the assassination attempt on the president makes Biden less safe. I think it makes Harris less safe. It makes Obama less safe. And anyone who else gets Secret Service protection, because that so-called veil, that bubble of protection that the world thought was there, was pierced when it hit Donald Trump.
Is it a scarier thought that it was a massive security failure, or is it a scarier thought that it might have been an inside job?
Well, either, right? But when you look at the ground, and they provided a video for us in kind of slow motion of the trajectory of the bullets and where the first one and the second one, et cetera, and the vantage point. You don't have to be a security expert to realize, hey, someone could be on that roof. And this is a failure, so the director, Cheadle, should have resigned immediately in the same way the director did when Reagan was shot. And the fact that she held on was, again, it speaks to this administration. They have no respect for the office itself, for the American people, for the sanctity of our republic. It's all about them, and it's all about power. And so that's why we've got to push back and fight. And I'm going to tell you, Tennessee is a red state. Donald Trump is going to win this state, but we need every voter out there, one, casting a vote for the popular vote, but also, volunteer, make those phone calls into Pennsylvania and to Michigan and to Wisconsin, because we've got to win November, we've got to win it big. And just because you don't live in one of those states doesn't mean that you can't be a part of winning those states big. You and your involvement really make a difference in this.
100%. I always say we actually have a very unique situation in Tennessee because of all the transplants we have to touch a lot of different states when it comes to this next election. Like, we should be making phone calls to our friends and our family out of state.
Absolutely, for sure.
So, with the hearings this past week on the assassination attempt, are you walking away with more questions than you had before? And do you trust the FBI doing the criminal investigation?
Oh, so more questions than answers, absolutely. Do I trust the FBI? I'll take that. Whether it's J6, whether it's the weaponization of the Justice Department against Donald Trump, I was with Donald Trump in New York. I said the courtroom with him. It's literally a weaponized persecution of the former president. They get him, they can get you, they can get me, they can get anyone who's employed if they don't agree with. But so that's why the speaker is going to be setting up a separate task force. It will be bipartisan, where we will investigate this situation. We will have subpoena power, and we will get to the bottom of this. And I think it's important, too, for the American people, because I don't believe the American people trust the FBI. I don't think they trust the Secret Service anymore. So any information they provide is going to be suspect. It's got to be from the Republicans in the House of Representatives, and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Have you been surprised with the amount of Democrats that have kind of come out and taken, the same stance as the conservatives, that this was a travesty and that Kimberly Cheadle should have resigned? Guys like Ro Khanna or Jamie Raskin. Has that been surprising to you, or did you kind of expect that?
Well, I think you would hope that would occur. Right? In the same way, if there was an attempt on former president, any of the former presidents, Obama, you name any of the others, or if there was an attempt on Biden, I would be appalled by that. I would call for whomever's in charge to step down. I would call for they and those around them to have additional protection, because, again, the bad guys see this. The bad guys saw what happened on that Saturday. And now they're inspired, perhaps, to do the same thing. So whether it's a bad actor in Iran or North Korea or some medical man somewhere else in our country, that veil of protection has been pierced. This impermeability that the Secret Service, that air that they've always projected, has been shattered. And so, again, we would hope that this would be bipartisan, it would be virtually unanimous, that everyone would say, you know what, we got to have a hard reset here. And obviously there's a view on the left that, even said I could never get away with it. The courts and the media will be all over us, but they can call for violence. They can villainize Donald Trump and literally make him a villain as if he's out of some horror movie, which again inspires those people to want to do harm. And so, look, I can disagree with Joe Biden. I might not even like Joe Biden, but my attacks on him are going to be based on policy, not on some personal persona that he may or may not have. And we got to get back to that. Chris, you and I can disagree on something, but then afterwards, we're going to have another conversation about the topic that's going to improve our country.
Yep.
That's what we got to get back to.
Do you envision, 20 years down the road, people are going to still be questioning this event, or do you think we're going to reach a point where we kind of have a consensus and we can all semi-agree that the information that we've been presented is accurate on what happened?
Well, to be determined. But my hope would be is that we take the appropriate action with the task force, that we're able to get the information that we need, and that we can put this to rest. And look, there's a lot of questions here, and there's a lot of oddities with this case and this young man that seems suspect. We motivated him. Who inspired him? Who told him where to be and where to go? I don't know. We don't know the answer to this question. And so, there's always going to be, I think, lingering conspiracy. But my hope is that we can reassure the American people that at some point, by a reset, and a hard reset, when we have the House, the Republicans, we have the Senate, and we have the White House, that we have to do a hard reset. We have to clear house at the FBI, and we have to clean house at the Secret Service, and look, our Constitution, our rule of law, our republic is based on this idea that the justice is blind, and that everyone, regardless of race or creed or gender, is going to be treated equally. And that's not happening anymore. No. And that's a problem. I think that signals the end of the decline of the republic. And we've got to reset that. That's going to be tough. There's hard work ahead, but I'm committed to getting it done and fighting for it.
Andy Ogles on the Newsmaker Hotline. Thanks for joining the show today. I really appreciate you. Any closing thoughts or call to action for Tennesseans?
I just want to say it was an honor to be a member of Congress at this historic time. I think this election as we go forward will be historic. It is literally kind of like the Titanic. We're heading towards a collision. If we correct course today, we can avoid it. So it's historic. I encourage people to be part of it, and it's an honor to be a congressman.
Hey, I appreciate you, Andy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's 11:24 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. You know Paul. He hosts the Investor Coaching Show every Saturday here on WTN. He's been doing that for almost 2 decades. Unbelievable run that he's had. And I listened to that show before I got my show here, and I would learn from Paul. And when I got my show here, I wanted to work with Paul. Almost instantly, I said, please introduce me to Paul. Because I felt like I knew him already, and after getting to talk to him, he's the same guy that you hear on the air. Honest, smart, absolutely legit. And I'm proud to be a client of Paul's. Now, when I do these commercials, I get paid to do them, and Paul wants me to tell you that. He wants the honesty, he wants the transparency. I like that. I also like that Paul's team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status, and because of that, he wants that honesty, he wants the transparency. I like that Paul's team doesn't work on commission. And I also like they really focus on education. So that way when you're making decisions for your financial future, you never have that uneasy feeling of blind trust. Talk to Paul. You're going to feel just as good as I do after talking to him about your financial future. Set up a 15-minute phone call today. Get the ball rolling downhill. Go to paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com.
We're the voices in your head. Join us and on your phone. Listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Anywhere I need.
From WTN or iHeartRadio.
I downloaded the app.
997WTN.com.
Experience fall colors like never before in St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. Let's soak up the golden sun along the sugar white sands of America's best beaches and paddle the emerald green waters of the Gulf. Let's explore the kaleidoscopic colors of more than 30 galleries and museums and over 500 street murals. And let's marvel at fiery red sunsets all season long. Discover our vivid fall colors and plan your getaway at visitSPC.com. Let's shine.
Why sell your car at eBuyAnyCar.com? Because selling yourself can be, well,
Okay, I'll give you half now. Just half.
What? Avoid the hassle. Come to We Buy Any Car instead. Get in, get out,
Living TN. Now listen, summertime is here. They are once again releasing a limited number of lake lots available to the public. These are incredible deals. A 2-acre wooded estate lot with boat slip, those are starting at just $79,900. Reserve your townhome for only $20,000, and lake cottage packages with a boat slip, they are starting at $349,900. Now the amenities are amazing. Listen to this. You've got private golf cart access to a new marina, 10 miles of walking trails, and 3.5 miles of lake shoreline. Remember, this is a limited property release. It's going to happen on Saturday, July 27th. You can find them online, lakelivingtn.com. lakelivingtn.com. Also, you can call them at 865-408-9992. 865-408-9992. lakelivingtn.com.
If you feel like you've been ripped off by auto repair shops, you're not alone. It's one of the reasons I started Eurofix and AutoFix, because all I ever heard was, they keep your car forever, they're not honest, and they don't call you back when they say they will. Call in this Saturday beginning at 8 a.m. to get advice about your vehicle, and let's see if we can fix it. Find out how to keep from being ripped off and avoid costly mistakes with your vehicle. Join me this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's Fixing Cars with Aaron Stokes on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Brought to you by Eurofix and AutoFix.
There is no better way to